Hi there, I'm Brad Domek. I'm the Director of Specialised Health, and thanks for going ahead and clicking to download our 8 must-dos to achieve rehab outcomes and ultimately help your customers get back to work. Over the last 15 years, we've extracted this information and have ultimately used them as our guiding principles in helping our customers achieve some awesome outcomes. And it's our hope that through providing these outcomes to others out there in the industry, you'll be able to use them as well and be able to achieve the same outcomes that we have and get your customers back to work faster, get back to living a fully functional life as fast as possible. So I want to run through our 8 must-dos really quickly now, but go ahead and download the cheat sheet because we want you to be able to pass this to your colleagues, pass this to customers, pass this to anybody that's involved in the rehabilitation space. Print it out, stick it up on your desk, and use these as your guiding principles as you're helping customers get through their rehab process. Number 1 on the top of the list, communication. In any multi-party approach to rehab, everybody has to be talking, whether that's an update coming from the treater to the claims manager or to the employer or to the rehab provider, whether it's the insurer communicating with the customer or alternatively the customer communicating back to the claims manager. Communication is such a massive part of any multi-party approach. When there are multiple people involved in a rehab process, everybody's got to be on the same bus and driving in the right direction for that rehab process to be successful. So talk, email, fax, whatever you need to do to let all the other parties know what's going on in your space in that rehab process, and that will ultimately help the other parties to strategize accordingly and do their part in the process as well. So communicate often and communicate well. Number 2, early intervention. Early intervention has become a real buzzword in the compensable spaces, but it still rings true. If somebody is engaged with early and they're not left to their own devices for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, there is a much bigger chance that they're going to achieve a great return to work outcome and ultimately get back to full function. This is obviously difficult in the life insurance income protection space where there are waiting periods involved, but in any way, shape or form that you can get involved early and make contact with an injured person as early as possible, you're going to really help their chances of getting through their rehab process positively. The next one, goals and milestones. Obviously following the SMART goals format of specific, measurable, achievable, reasonable, and timed. We want to be able to set large-scale goals of where we want our customers to get back to, and we also want to set the milestones. These are what we call the stepping stones, that we have a date attached to them, and we have our short and medium-term goals that we want to hit along the way to ultimately get back to their overarching goal. So if their overarching goal is to get back to a return to work, then what do we need to hit along the way for them to be achieving the right trajectory and heading towards that ultimate goal? Next one is tailored. Be tailored in your approach. So we could have 20 people with a supraspinatus tear, and the nature of the BPS model of rehabilitation suggests that there are always multiple factors involved. The biopsychosocial model suggests that there's biological, there's psychosocial, there's psychological, and there's social factors involved. And that means that out of 20 different supraspinatus tears, there are going to be 20 different approaches required to that rehab process. So be tailored in your approach and treat every individual as exactly that, an individual. Education. Now I've got a bit of a different take on education. Obviously you would think about education in the way of educating the customer about their illness or their injury. I think of education in the way of educating them about what the process is that they're a part of now. This isn't part of a process where they walk in off the street to a physio clinic or an EP clinic or to their doctor and they only have to deal one-on-one with them. This is a multi-party approach, and for the customer to be able to provide the right information that will ultimately get the process going quicker, they need to be educated about what this process is that they're in. They're in a compensable scheme. They've made a claim on their income protection or their workers' comp or their CTP, and as a nature of that, they have to have obligations that they need to meet to be able to be eligible for everything that can be provided for them in this compensable process. So educate the customers, educate the treaters that are involved with those customers about what the obligations are, because if they know what the obligations are, they're going to meet those obligations, and that's ultimately going to help you, the claims manager, or the rehab providers, or the treaters, do what they need to do to move the person forward through their rehab. Next is collaboration. So again, with a multi-party approach, there is going to be different angles, different experiences, and different expertise available to the customers. So if there's an OT involved, there's an EP involved, there's a GP, there's a physio, then lean on the different angles, lean on the different expertise that's available to you as the claims manager again, and use the experience from each of those people, each of those disciplines, to get strategies about moving the case forward. Problem solving. If the only thing that people are identifying is barriers, and they're not suggesting strategies to move those barriers along, then they're not helping the rehab process. So if there are barriers being identified, then what are the strategies that are going to be employed, or what are the suggestions that may help the customer to overcome those barriers? So be a problem solver in the process. Don't just raise barriers without suggesting the solution that can be useful as well. Lastly, definitely not the least important piece in the puzzle, we should really have it way up here as number 1 or number 2 in the process: engage the GP. So the GPs, when we sit down with them as an exercise physiologist and we have the customer or the patient or the client there with us, the GPs are often so thankful that somebody is there to give them some information that they can make some clinical reasoning on. Too often the GPs are left to have a 5, 10, 15-minute consultation with their customer or with their patient, and they need to use whatever information they have available to them. That's the customer's reports to them, that's any other medical information they have available to them, any info that's supplied to them. They have to paint that they have to take that whole picture in and make their recommendations based on that information. If we can be there, if we can talk with the GP, if we can explain things to the GP in terms of the workplace, in terms of how treatment is going, and we can provide that information, we can engage with the GP on that level, it makes the GP's life so much easier, and ultimately that helps the customer because they're going to get the best suggestions from the GP. So give them all the information, paint them the full picture, and allow the GP to lean on all the information to provide their clinical reasoning. So there are 8 top tips for helping somebody achieve awesome outcomes in the rehabilitation process. Print those out, put them on your desk, pass them around to your colleagues, and we hope, our ultimate aim is that you're going to be able to achieve the results that we have for our customers as a result of implementing these 8 tips. So good luck with it. Share your results. If you have some awesome experiences as a result of using these 8 tips, share them on facebook.com/specializedhealth, but you can check out our website as well, specializedhealth.com.au, and you can see more information, more helpful educational information about the work that we're doing in the workers' comp, CTP, and the life insurance space. So check it out, and we look forward to working with you soon.